Any thoughts, anybody?
Well, I mean, this just happened today.
Yes. I heard yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, this just goes like any other time. This is one side of what happened. I mean, there's months from now we'll find out the full report. So,
did he end up passing away?
yes,
He did. So okay, so he passed. He's dead. It's unfortunate that this lady lost her boyfriend, and you have a 4-year-old girl that saw probably her father die right in front of her. The only thing I can comment on is my experiences over 20 years. And the way that cop's adrenaline was going, and the way he was still, the reason why he's still pointing that gun at a guy who's not moving and bleeding everywhere is because he's scared. That cop is scared. I don't think that officer right now wishes to be in the situation that he's in, because he's going to be crucified in the news.
justified or not.
Right.
And in the court's mind, it's how a reasonable officer would have reacted. We don't know what happened in that car. That's why I said I'm not even going to comment on the shooting itself.
Even if you assume that the guy did say, hey, I've got a CPL, which I think he probably did tell him.
Yeah.
The guy was Philando Castile, by the way, who was killed. And Diamond Reynolds was recording it, if you remember this, in Minnesota. And this is Flint, Michigan Police Department watching that video. So I'm going to continue.
But to me, she says something really key. She mentions that the officer shot when he was bringing his hands back up. That means his hands were down where they shouldn't have been.
Okay, normally, you know, what I do, you know, is, hey, keep your hands right where I can see them. You know, because if he starts reaching, I don't know his intent. Anybody here gonna know what this guy's intent is? You know, I mean, he could be the nicest guy on Sunday, and today he got a bad day. You know, you know what I'm saying? What are you gonna do?
Just one other thing to think about, I guess. I mean, her boyfriend just got shot 4 times by the police, and her first reaction is to take out her cell phone and start recording. And she was pretty callous about it.
Calm.
And that's probably the worst situation you could be in, I think, as anybody. And her first thought is get her cell phone out and start recording. So just assume you're always being recorded. Don't want to change your tactics. Don't want to change your...
You know, use your heads. Think. There's no shame in retreating until you got the ability to secure a scene like that. Take cover. Don't stand in front of that window.
Red room. Say it. Do it. You may have
It would really appear that people are going out of their way to shine a negative light on police at this point for some reason. That officer, he's standing there in the window yelling, fuck.
I will, sir. No worries. I will.
Fuck!
And he's not just saying fuck, he's screaming it. Because all he can see at that point is the fact that he just shot somebody, which is actually a pretty big deal. When you pull that trigger, I mean, that's doesn't get any bigger than that. There is so much that happened before that thing actually kicked on. And that's even if what we saw wasn't even edited. Because as we know, if you go back all the way to the Rodney King days, that video actually was cut, showing just the last part of it and not the beginning of it.
Every time I look at that, I'm just like, that was horrible. It was horrible police work. I mean, it was, you actually seen it with your own eyes. And it's like the world, well, when I say the world, the black community has never forgotten things like that. It's almost like nobody thought to get out on the ground and try to handcuff him. It's like, oh, he's still moving, you know. Oh, he's still moving. At the point that you can control him and handcuff him, it's done. If we constantly reassessing the threat and we determine, you know, it's not appropriate to shoot white people, that same courtesy should be extended to all people, you know. So, and sometimes I look at it and I'm like, they're not reassessing the threat.
I'm minding my business. Please just leave me alone.
Hold on.
Don't touch me.
I don't think I felt threatened is a good enough answer in these situations. Something has to click in your mind, and you have to constantly reassessing the threat.
Seems like the 60s, the 50s and the 60s. It look like it's coming back. But they're getting away with it. They're getting away with it. That's what's real bad about it. They're getting away with it.
Really, this goes back, it goes far back as slavery, you know. There's a distrust there.
Police is like mailmen, okay? When they walk down the street, they see a dog barking. The dog may not be gonna bite them, but just cause the past or what done happened or what they done seen, they gonna feel like that dog gonna bite them. So, you know, they gonna go around, you know what I'm saying? So they scared of us. They fear us.
I think some of us fear, absolutely, and I think not being comfortable with where you're at. I think that comes into play quite a bit.
You know, it's sad that I have to tell my son, look, just don't get into trouble, because you don't know if you're gonna have a good cop or a bad cop.
Now, how do you train out of that? How do you fix that? How do you fix that? We could take 100 classes, but if this dude grew up in a house where daddy didn't like fucking black people, how do you change that, officer, man? That's I don't know. That's tough.
And until we stop sugarcoating the issue in this country, that's exactly the reason why we're in the position that we're in right now. And they don't want to deal with it head on. Well, until we start dealing with these situations that we're having head on, we're going to continue to have these problems.
Okay, so that's the end of the video from Flint Town. I always say this: your melanin is the crime. Y'all let me know what you think in the comment section.